educate you on the dangers of GMO. At what point are you going to take the time to educate yourself? If you do not care what you consume, care about what your children consume. Care about what your grandchildren consume.
Here are 10 things that Monsanto does not want you to know. Foods containing GMOs don't have to be labeled in the U.S. Monsanto has fought hard to prevent labeling laws. This is alarming since approximately 70% of processed foods in the U.S. now contain GMO ingredients. The European Union, Japan, China, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and many other nations now require mandatory GMO labeling. Number 2. In 1992, Vice President Dan Quayle announced the FDA's anti-consumer right-to-know policy, which stated that GMO foods do not need to be labeled nor safety tested. Number 3. Monsanto puts small farmers out of business. Percy Schmeiser is a Canadian farmer whose canola fields were contaminated by Monsanto's Roundup Ready canola by pollen from a nearby GMO farm. Monsanto successfully argued in a lawsuit that Schmeiser violated their patent rights and tried to force Schmeiser to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages. This type of biotech bullying is happening all over America. Number 4. Monsanto's deadly legacy includes the production of Agent Orange and DDT. Now massive aerial spraying of Roundup in Colombia is being used by the U.S. and Colombian government as a counterinsurgency tactic, contaminating food crops and poisoning villagers. Number 5. Monsanto is blocking government regulations. A revolving door exists between Monsanto and U.S. regulatory and judicial bodies making key decisions. Justice Clarence Thomas, a former Monsanto lawyer, was the one who wrote the majority opinion on a key Monsanto case. Michael Taylor once worked for the FDA, later represented Monsanto as a lawyer, then returned as the FDA's Deputy Commissioner for Policy when bovine growth hormone was granted approval. Number 6. Monsanto is guilty of false advertising. France's highest court ruled in 2009 that Monsanto had lied about the safety of its weed killer Roundup. The court confirmed an earlier judgment that Monsanto had falsely advertised its herbicide as, quote, biodegradable. Number 7. Consumers reject bovine growth hormone. In the wake of mass consumer pressure, major retailers such as Safeway, Publix, Walmart, and Kroger banned store-brand milk products containing Monsanto's controversial genetically engineered bovine growth hormone. Starbucks, under pressure from the OCA and our allies, has likewise banned bovine growth hormone milk. Number 8. GMO crops do not increase yields. A major UN and World Bank sponsored report compiled by 400 scientists and endorsed by 58 countries concluded that GM crops have little to offer to the challenges of poverty, hunger, and climate change. Better alternatives are available, and the report championed organic farming as the sustainable way forward for developing countries. Number 9. Monsanto controls the U.S. soy market. In 1996, when Monsanto began selling Roundup Ready soybeans, only 2% of the soybeans in the U.S. contained their patented gene. By 2008, over 90% of the soybeans in the U.S. contains Monsanto's gene. Meanwhile, prominent scientists have publicized alarming research revealing severe damage to animals fed GMO foods. Number 10. GMO foods may lead to food allergies. In March 1999, UK researchers at the York Laboratory were alarmed to discover that reactions to soy had skyrocketed by over 50% over the previous year. Genetically modified soy had recently entered the UK from US imports, and the soy used in the study was largely GM soy.